Good morning, everybody. It is so nice to see you all here. Welcome to the first State of the City address from me. I know many of you have been to these before, and I am so excited to see you here today. To start, I know our elected officials were recognized, but I know we also have some other special people in the audience. Where are the Pomona Panthers? Woo! Over here? Yes. And where are the Arvada West Wildcats? Yeah. All right, we are excited to have students here today. When I found out we'd have some students, I was particularly excited as youth is one of my great passions, particularly as a mom. So I know we've already thanked our elected officials. I also want to recognize our two newest city council members, District 2 Councilwoman Shauna Ambrose and also Sharon Davis, our at-large council member. We're excited to have them with us on our team doing this great work for the city. Speaking of great work, a lot has been done. I am excited to be continuing the work of all the great leaders that came before me. I inherited a city that's in a really great place, and that is not lost on me. There's so much that has been done, that will be done, and that is already happening, that is the ship has sailed and it is well on its way to where its destination. And I'm thrilled that I get to be a part of that. And I always say I've inherited a great situation. I would be remiss if I did not recognize Mayor Mark Williams, our previous mayor the past 12 years. I wore some sparkles just in his honor. I didn't want you guys to go through withdrawal, so I did pick my only sparkly jacket. I'll consider investing in more. Mark's leadership was really foundational for our city. You know, not all cities and not all councils get along in a healthy, productive way. We don't always have to all be friends, but we do need to be able to work together. We need to be able to disagree agreeably. And from what I'm told, the Arvada Council didn't always used to be that way. Under Mark's leadership, as well as some of the great leaders before him, Mayor Ken Feldman, I see you over there, we were able to institutionalize disagreeing agreeably as part of our culture here in Arvada. And I think that's part of what makes Arvada so special. That leadership, that institutionalization, that's a hard word, at the top has really filtered down throughout our city. We've had some big election cycles here, most recently new mayors, which I know all of us paid close attention to, certainly me. And it was a little bit different than you see in other cities. I am so grateful for my friend, my fellow councilman, John Marriott. We had a really healthy election, focused on the issues, focused on the visions, and not about who we are as people, because we're friends. I care deeply about him, and I know he cares about me, as we do for every single member of our council. And we are dedicated to continuing that tradition here in Arvada as the Arvada way. Now, as we get underway, we're going to start by celebrating a handful of milestones. Then we're going to talk about some challenges we've got, and then what the city is doing to rise to those challenges and things to look forward to in the future. So first, let's celebrate a little bit. This is one of our fun slides, just looking at different things that happened in the past year. I'll just kind of go clockwise around. As you can see from the very top is our Old Town Christmas tree lighting. Hard to miss that one. Then we have the Kids Fishing Derby. I believe that was the second place winner. Then we have Arvada on Tap. Inauguration night, which also happened to be the farewell to Mayor Mark Williams. He brought in the big gavel that evening. We have the Harvest Festival Parade, which this year I believe is in its 99th year or 100th? 99th year, thank you. Then we have Trick or Treat Street. That's actually my daughter and her best friend. I had to throw one in there. And finally, Winterfest, which already happened again this year, was a huge success. So as we move forward, we look at the milestones we've already achieved. First, I'll start with 72nd Avenue. 72nd Avenue has completed Phase 2, which is Swadley to Oak. All 4 lanes are open, as well as the sidewalks, which ensures increased safety for the children of Oberon Middle School, as well as Lincoln Academy, and all pedestrians who want to go through this important corridor. Unfortunately, we do have to pause now for Phase 3. The original plan was to keep going forward to Phase 3, which is going to be the underpass of the railroad tracks there. However, due to some ongoing negotiations with Union Pacific, we are going to have a pause of quite a few months here before we're going to be able to start that work. However, please know that your city team, as well as the council, remain firmly committed to seeing this through. I know Sam is here, and I want to give a quick shout out to Representative Pedersen's office for helping us advance forward some of our earlier designs, as well as Senator Bennett's office. Both of them have been huge champions on our behalf with the railroad, and we're very grateful to them. So thank all of you for your patience, and we are dedicated to completing that work. Next, we have Ralston Road. Who's glad that it's done? Yeah. Trust me, no one is more glad than us. Ralston did fall a bit behind schedule, which is not shocking. However, due to our very warm autumn weather last year, we were able to do a lot of catch-up work and actually complete the road close to schedule. I know that's a bit of a surprise, but it's true. So Ralston Road is beautiful. I think all of you have driven on it at this point. We have very small touch-ups to do this year, a little bit of the concreting and other work during the warm weather, but otherwise that is complete, and we are looking forward to that finally being done and ready for decades to come. All along Ralston, you've seen new construction. This is largely, almost entirely, in fact, thanks to the efforts of the Arvada Urban Renewal Authority. Maureen, where are you? Woo! Thank you, Maureen and Giles and Carrie and your entire team for your dedication and hard work. Aura's mission is to remediate blight. And I believe we all remember there was a vacant, derelict Kmart, also known as the dumping grounds. And then we also had a shopping center that had a Chuck E. Cheese, a Chinese restaurant that gave me food poisoning twice. I shouldn't have gone back after the first time, but I did. So now we're going to have an absolutely beautiful mix of residential and commercial real estate. We're going to have high-end luxury apartments. The Caroline will be opening soon. Aura Board recently took a tour, and it is going to be just a stunning building, offering a lot of lifestyle and excellent opportunity for the residents of those buildings. And then on the next lot over, we should be breaking ground, hopefully later this year, on the Loftus. We already have a lot of dining options available there, and as well as some for ownership opportunities for townhomes. And then next will come the retail lifestyle, and this one's really exciting. Who here saw the investment from City Street Investors? All right, guys, it's a beer garden. Arvada is going to be welcoming its very first beer garden, the Ralston Commons Beer Garden. And what's so exciting about this project is it will be built around a park. This is walkable right across the street from Memorial Park, where the kids' splash pad is. So it's the definition of live, work, recreate, and even lunch. You can spend the morning with your kids at the park, come over, get lunch, let them continue to play while the adults relax. As a mom of a 7-year-old, I know how important this is. And then the residents will be able to walk over. And then my favorite piece about this is there are walking corridors throughout the entire project. It is designed to be fully pedestrian and bicycle friendly, including all the way through the apartment units that will take you to Ralston Creek and the Ralston Creek Trail, including scenic overlooks. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, and it's an excellent design blend of nature and construction and life. So I'm very happy about that. Moving southeast, we have Oldtown Station. Oldtown Station is going to be on that parcel. You've all seen it go up. That's the one where the old RTD park and ride used to be. Did anybody else used to take that? So a few of us, I think. If you remember that parking lot, it was crumbling, weeds coming out of it. It was a rather large space for a bus depot. Now, instead of a crumbling parking lot, we have a brand new Marriott Residence Inn with 128 rooms, which I actually took my daughter for a girls' slumber party here recently, and it is absolutely beautiful, as well as brand new dining amenities for Arvada. In this new shopping center, you can see we have Cava, Everbowl, Smash Burger, Perry's Pizza, and my personal favorite, Snooze. So, and then on the northern parcel should be coming later this fall. This will be the Russell, which is 252 units of brand new transit-oriented community living. We are excited for all the new business and residential projects here in Arvada. But how do we fuel these projects? How do we keep them alive? You know, one of the top concerns we at Council always hear from residents is, do we have the capacity? Do we have the resources for all this new development? And the answer is yes. It's not only that we have been investing in building more, it's also that we're using it better. I am so excited to talk about our energy conservation project. The Department of Energy operates the Better Buildings Challenge, which is a national challenge to municipalities and other organizations to improve energy efficiency across all facilities by 10% or by 20% in 10 years. Well, in 10 years, Arvada did 28%. So that's not only good for the environment, it's great for our bottom line. Thank you to our facilities team for all of that hard work. And then right behind us happening over here, a few of you probably saw it on your way in this morning, I know I did, is our brand new Arvada Aquatic Center, the replacement for Myers Pool that is going in. Construction along this project is moving quite quickly, and we are excited to be opening it this fall. This is going to be a brand new state-of-the-art facility, a new home for our Jefferson County Public Schools swimmers and divers with Olympic-sized pools and the high dive, everything. And it's going to be a wonderful attraction for aquatics competitions across the Front Range. It is an energy efficient building. To the previous slide, this building was designed with LEED Silver standards and also an advanced water filtration system to conserve and preserve everything, that most precious resource. I once heard that to coronate a pool, my predecessor did a cannonball in a sparkly sequin jacket. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. However, I can promise you we will have fun. Speaking of water, we had the Lake Arbor Restoration Project. This stormwater project was designed for bank stabilization, pond dredging, and sediment removal. I want to personally thank all the residents of Lake Arbor. I know Councilmember Moorman does as well. He heard from quite a few of them as the District 1 rep. This project brought up quite a few fun smells, shall we say. So we thank them for their patience. This is a really important project, and now that it's completed, it will be viable and useful for generations to come and a true gem for that neighborhood. So I also want to acknowledge our Public Works team. This project was recently awarded the Colorado chapter of the American Public Works Association's Project of the Year in the environment category for a large community. That is a huge achievement and really a testament to the work that was done here. And there's a lot of excellence to go around in our city. Finally, I would be remiss if I did not talk about Mr. Archer in the pink pants there and his incredible finance team for once again earning a Certificate of Achievement of Excellence in Financial Reporting from the, I have to read this one, Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada. Yes, that is a real organization. It is the highest recognition in this field, and it is not the first time they've earned it. In fact, for 40 years, we have been achieving this level of excellence. And that is a huge part of why our community is so successful. We are stable and we are resilient in no small part thanks to their efforts and excellent planning. So thank you guys. So as we have celebrated some of our milestones and achievements, we are now looking forward to some of the challenges we continue to face. We are excited for some of this work. It's going to be difficult, and I'm not going to lie. Some of you are probably going to be calling me about it. But it's important, and we need to do it. No generation is without its challenges, and these are going to be some of ours. So let's take a look ahead at some of the things we're facing. I probably should just go ahead and start with the one that we all hear the most about, housing. This is the dream versus reality. We all know what housing is like these days. Young families need to be able to buy in order to be able to build the equity and enjoy the opportunities that we all have enjoyed for our families. Arvada is looking aggressively at how to do a mix of housing solutions, both affordable and attainable for seniors who are looking to downsize because perhaps their original home, they don't need stairs, they don't need a large yard anymore. I've heard this from numerous seniors who are aging in place because there's nowhere for them to go. So we are looking at that. We are also looking aggressively at workforce housing for our young professionals so they're not living in your basements anymore, Councilmember Pfeiffer. So all stages of life It matters whether you are a counselor, a barista, an auto mechanic, a teacher, a police officer, a firefighter. You deserve to be able to make your home in this community, and we are excited to have you here. So first off, Councilmember Foray wouldn't let it go. Councilmember Foray can be a very persistent person, you guys. We love that about her. So Councilmember Foray when she came into office, I know many of you have heard this, she was dedicated to seeing the formation of a housing advisory committee, and we got it done. This committee, so the council discussed this at length, and we decided on a very deliberate mix of expertise for this committee. We didn't just want passionate volunteers. We wanted volunteers with real experience in banking, in real estate transactions, construction, lived experience from being in affordable housing, on vouchers, all of it across the board, in policy. So we put out a very deliberate call for action for residents, for applications, to see who we would get. And oh boy, did the community respond. It's incredible, the expertise that stepped forward to help our community solve this challenge. They commit their time, they commit their energy and their knowledge and expertise. So for all stages of life, this committee has been focused on learning about the issue, exactly what Arvada faces, what we're currently doing, and then starting to identify gaps. They are currently working on outlining a strategies and goals plan for housing preservation for our naturally occurring affordable housing, as well as creation of new opportunities across Arvada, and what strategies are out there that perhaps we're not doing yet that we can make happen. And speaking of the ones that are happening, I want to thank our partners. We've had several partners step forward to help us with these projects. Just going through some of these, on the top left, you'll see Arvada House. Arvada House was a affordable housing community that was about to expire. Understanding this, the city stepped in with our resources, and we were able to secure that project as continuing to be affordable housing for the next, I believe, 30 years. Then, sorry, I can't read the screen in the back. I'm going to have to turn around. So then we have Vance Street Flats. Is Shelley Cook with us today? Hi, Shelley. We got to give all the credit to Shelley Cook on this one. She conceived it. She was the driving power behind this. And I am so excited that later this month, here in Arvada, we are going to be joined by Governor Polis for a ribbon cutting on this important project. It is already taking housing now. It is walking distance to Old Town and public transit, and it is 53 permanent affordable units for our workforce housing, for people who work in our community to be able to live in our community. It's absolutely beautiful. I got a mini tour the other day, and it's even serving as the new home of the Veggie Van. Then we have Ralston Gardens. Ralston Gardens is another urban renewal project that we're very excited about, with one of the top developers in the Denver area on this issue, Mr. George Thorne. This is going to be a beautiful project right there at Garrison next to the Walmart. Many of you have seen it, and we're excited about this one as it's going to be a very diverse tenant mix, highly amenitized. You would never know it's affordable housing. It's a very special project, and I'm looking forward to that ribbon cutting later this year. We're also moving dirt on some projects. Legacy senior residences. As I mentioned, we have seniors aging in place that would like to downsize. Seniors on fixed income, and I'm not on Social Security, but I do hear rumors that it doesn't quite keep up with inflation. So it's really important that we make it possible for our seniors to stay in our community. Legacy Senior Residences is going to be an important project that helps us do that. Moving forward, Habitat for Humanity. I've been hearing about this one since before I was in office. They are finally moving dirt, and I am so excited about that. That is 20 units of ownership. That is the critical piece here that we've been missing in so many of our housing solutions. We have a lot of options for affordable rental coming online, but we don't have a lot of affordable ownership. The ability to get in there, to build equity, to have that pride of ownership is truly investing in the community and in yourself. And I'm so excited that we have those 20 projects coming online here soon. Then we have Marshall Street Landing. We had this groundbreaking photo was taken, I think, 2 weeks ago now, and I'm very excited about this project. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this project is with Family Tree. It is a nonprofit in our area with a great track record of success in these kinds of projects. It's going to be 85 units of permanent supportive housing, supporting hard-to-house homeless individuals, as well as those on their road to recovery. So what this is it's a secure building. You can't just easily get in and out. You have to live there or work there. They will have 2 social workers on site 24/7. So if you have a mental health crisis at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's someone there to help you. They will have access to doctors, to group therapy, to treatment. It's a trauma-informed design building, so people can seek out the spaces that make sense for them and give them comfort. This is an incredible project that will go a long way to helping people in our community not only be stabilized and start to have a better life, but to get them back on their feet, get them on the road to recovery, and give them empowered to take ownership of their journey. And not featured here because we don't have a photo yet. We are the last one that I really want to talk about. If that is Marshall Street Landing, then it's Marshall Point. I always get them confused. We've really got to come up with some more creative names. So Marshall Point is going to be 265 units of affordable housing as well, only a few blocks from this project. And what's really special about this is when I was first elected in 2019, the developer who owned the site where Marshall Point will now be came to me and just asked me to go for a cup of coffee. And he said, I want to do something with that site. What do you need? What does Arvada need? And I said, we need condos and we need affordable housing. He picked affordable housing. Apparently that was going to be the easier path than condos. Let that sink in. So with that, he came up with a design, and now we have this absolutely beautiful project. And when I heard about it, I said, hey, wait a second. Have you talked to the other guys down the street that are kind of doing something similar? I connected them, and they did talk, which is, well, really good. Good things happen when conversations happen. So instead of Family Tree doing a 0% AMI, which is area median income, about how much salary you make, instead of doing somebody with no salaries, like many homeless individuals are, they decided to do 0 to 30 so that you could get a job, start to get back on your feet, start to make income without risk of losing your housing. Even better, the other project decided instead of doing 40 to 80, they would lower it to 30 to 70. Now, when people start to really do better, they get a good job, they start to really be on their feet, they don't have to be afraid of falling off that ladder, because that's one of the things that usually stops people from continuing to grow. Now people will be able to move a few blocks away, still have access to their doctors, to their therapists, to their community. Their kids don't have to change schools. They don't have to worry about changing their commute. It's really going to be a special opportunity once it's all completed. So we're so excited about all of those things, and it's not just projects. There's so much more to this housing issue than just projects. I want to talk a minute and I want to brag for a minute about HB 23-1189. This bill was conceived of by our own Economic Development Association, Mr. Daniel Riley, who sadly has moved on, and also Ms. Iza Petrikowska, who is still with us today. Born in Arvada, this plan essentially creates a 401k styled option for employers to offer a new benefit for employees. So it offers a state income tax credit for employers who put money aside into a fund that employees can now use to buy a house. And do I see Senator Zenzinger anywhere in here? She might be trapped in the legislature right now. But our state senator, Rachel Zenzinger, took this bill. She was the Senate sponsor. She ran with it. We want to thank her and AIDA for being such incredible champions. It's one more tool in the toolbox for employers to be able to help their employees, to improve retention rates, and for employees to have just a little bit extra help getting themselves into a home. There's been a lot of attention on affordable housing at the state level. Some good, and I'm not going to lie, some bad. I want to start by thanking our state representatives, Lindsay Doherty and Brianna Titone. They both had the courage to vote no on a bill that we're calling 1313. 1313, so bad they gave it the number twice. 1313, as well as some other bills, would usurp local control from the city of Arvada, as well as any other community that has transit in our community. This is kind of scary because if you guys, I do hear a lot about it, if you don't like the density we have now, 1313 could mandate up to 65,000 new units in Arvada. We don't have the water for that. We don't have the infrastructure for that. We don't have the space for that. It could significantly damage the character of our community. It's in the Senate now, and I don't believe our state senator is going to be a supporter of it. But I do encourage you, whoever you are, to contact your state senator and tell them to vote no on that bill. And that's the last piece of advocacy I will share with you today. But even so, with 1313 and other bills, this is scary because the state does a lot of great things, but what we need from them is resources to help us be able to achieve these projects. We don't need mandates that are unfunded that tell us how to plan our community and potentially destroy the character of Arvada. One good thing that came from the state, like I said, there are good and bad. Prop 123. This was the state ballot initiative given to the voters a couple of years ago to create a housing fund that cities and organizations could use to tap to support affordable housing projects. Arvada was one of the earliest adopters of signing into Prop 123, and we are looking at numerous opportunities to be able to support some of these important projects. Directly related to housing is another crisis, the one we probably also hear the most about, the unhoused homelessness crisis. This one is a struggle for all of us because it impacts all of us in a unique way. It's not only a human issue, but frankly, it's a public health and safety issue as well. And you can't get away from the fact that both are true. First, I want to thank our core team, our daily heroes that interact day in and day out with this community. They work to build trust. They work very hard to connect people to services when they're ready. And this is a critical piece because if you've ever worked with the homeless community, you know that they reject services, they reject services, they reject services, right up until one day, 1 hour comes when they're like, yeah, I think I'm done with this. And they decide and they say yes. They say yes to services. And if you're not there in that minute, you miss the window. Our core team is there. They know these guys by name and they know to say, hey, I think I want some help today. And we can make that happen. And I'm so proud of the work that they do, keeping those relationships as well as maintaining the safety and healthy environment in our old town especially. The challenge is great. Not only do we have homelessness issues with core team, but we also have our behavioral health co-responder unit, CREW. These are our specialists that specialize in mental health response. Homelessness is a multifaceted issue. I always say, if you have 100 homeless individuals, you will have 100 unique solutions or issues for that individual. Mental health, unfortunately, is one of the key causes of this. I know that well. Our CREW team, they are exceptional. They are exceptional at de-escalating issues. They are exceptional at calming situations down. And they are exceptional at taking what could be a volatile situation into a calm and safe one. We're very proud of them and the work that they do. They receive on average 4 behavioral health calls a day, and we spend about 20 hours a week on this particular issue. Because we have people trained for this issue who are specialized and who know people, we are actually able to significantly reduce the amount of time and investment that it takes to achieve the same results that other communities such as Denver that are doing this work. It is customized and it is cost effective. We also partner with our partner jurisdictions. I heard we had some Adams County commissioners here today. Thank you for being, hi Emma, hi Lynn. So I want to thank Adams County for signing an agreement with us for the street outreach team. This is an absolutely fabulous program where they have social workers and professionally trained individuals who know how to connect with difficult populations and be able to get them into services. That program was effective and we're hoping to be able to bring it back here this summer. We do need the help of our jurisdictional partners. This is not something Arvada can tackle alone, make no mistake. We are not a health and human services organization. We don't have mental health or addiction health beds. We need our state partners, our federal partners to increase those resources so that when we do have someone who needs help and is willing to receive it, we have a place to take them. We're thankful for our nonprofit partners and even our for-profit partners who have been stepping up, for our jurisdictional partners who have helped, and we continue to call upon all of them to work with us so that we can tackle this solution together. One other thing Arvada has been doing is our One Small Step program. Some of you, many of you, have heard about this before. It was instigated by Judge Katie Kurtz about 3 years ago after she came on board. One Small Step is a specialized court, particularly for homeless individuals who have been cited with more or less a petty crime. Perhaps they have trespassed, perhaps they've urinated in public, perhaps they have stolen a loaf of bread. Not violent crime. Violent crime requires a very different response. But petty crime, this is our opportunity to try and get people onto a better path. Instead of a jail sentence, what the judge will do is say, okay, well, your sentence then is going to be whatever their unique self-improvement option is. It is, this week you have to get an ID, or this week you have to sign up for benefits, et cetera, et cetera. And we help them with that. We connect them to the services where they will be able to get that help and hold their hand to walk them through. After they achieve that item, they come back, then they get the next one. Hence, One Small Step. It's one step at a time through a bigger journey. It is a difficult issue. And make no mistake, people who have severe traumas, addictions, issues, they do fall off the ladder. We've seen this, it's cyclical. This is not meant to be a short-term solution, it's a long-term journey. Those who are resistant, who don't want to participate, the judge will use her discretion if perhaps jail is the right solution for them if they continue to commit the same crimes that they have been committing. But we have seen success. In particular, the gentleman on the far corner there in the blue shirt is one of our graduates. We do have several graduates now, I believe about a dozen. They are housed, they have jobs, they are reconnected with their families and their community. They are success stories, and we are very, very proud of them. Today, there are 61 active participants in One Small Step. And in terms of our community partners, the community table is stepping up. As you can see in the smaller picture, we all know the current community table building. It's about 10,000 square feet. The city helped Community Table to expand. They are currently about to launch a capital campaign to renovate this brand new 15,000 square foot building so that they can expand their services. This includes a expanded client choice grocery, permanent laundry and shower facilities, as well as taking on wraparound navigation services for those that need it, either the close to homeless or those experiencing homeless. Community Table has been serving our community for 40 years, and we look forward to the next 40 and all that they're going to do. Next, we have even brighter horizons. Those are some of our challenges that we are going to step up to meet, but let's also take a moment to celebrate what's to come. First, it's the economy. I'll let you fill in the last word there. And it's thriving. I want to thank all of you for making my job so easy. The local economy is vibrant and dynamic. We here in Arvada enjoy low commercial vacancy rates. In fact, we have to keep building more. Last year, we opened 320,000 new square feet of commercial real estate space. We also welcomed a net of 167 new businesses to Arvada. That's incredible. Many of them are going to be local businesses like all of you. We had a 99% retention rate in our business, which means people not only want to come to Arvada, they want to stay here. This is an amazing opportunity. It's not something all of our neighboring cities have, and it's a real testament to the environment and the community and the people and the quality of life we have here. We're not done, though. First, yeah, I know. That one's on there. They made me put that one on there. It's okay. So first, I'll start with the ERI group, that boring building up in the corner. This is an exciting project, despite the fact that it doesn't look quite as dynamic. It is a Colorado medical manufacturer that is chosen to double its manufacturing space, and has chosen Arvada to do it. They have facilities across the Denver metro area, and for this large expansion, they have leased 34,000 square feet here in Arvada for their advanced medical manufacturing. These are going to be good paying jobs across different levels, and we are excited to have that here in Arvada. And the In-N-Out Burger. Well, we've talked about that one a lot. I will say, whether you love them or hate them, In-N-Out is going to be an exciting opportunity for new revenue right there at the corner of Wadsworth and I-70. And I'm not going to lie, I have never had In-N-Out Burger before. I know. The hype has me very curious, okay? I'm going to have to try it. I really will. So, but Businesses are great, but what makes Arvada so special is our people. Our people are the ones who drive this economy. Nothing works without them. The talent, the intelligence, and the tenacious spirit of our Arvadans is so impressive. First, we are excited to welcome Jessica Garner, our brand new Director of Community and Economic Development. Hi, Jessica. Jessica brings a wealth of knowledge and national skills in economic development, community planning, and infrastructure, and we are very blessed to have her on our team. Also, a familiar face to many of us is Iza Petrikowska. Iza has worked for the city for 4 years and was recently promoted to Executive Director of the Arvada Economic Development Association. Under their leadership and their talents, we are so excited for everything there is to come. Next, we have our business story, which could not be told without the Arvada Chamber of Commerce. Come on, we're here for the Chamber today. Let's give them applause. Thank you, Chamber. You know, I always say, they're probably sick of me saying this now, Arvada is blessed to have one of the most dynamic, forward-thinking, and inspiring chambers, not just in Colorado, but in the country. Under Cami and her team, Arvada has really just an engaged community far beyond what most people think of with their standard chamber. A couple of years ago, the chamber launched their BOLD initiative, and they set a stretch goal of $2.75 million by 2026. I believe they've already hit it. So that tells you the talent and the dedication that that team has. They've also moved into new offices, which I am very excited to see, and looking forward to everything that they have coming up. The city is proud to be a sponsor of the BOLD 2026 vision. The Chamber also hosted Champions for Advocacy. This is a new Civic Life engagement plan. They took positions on 31 bills at the state legislature. They launched their Advocacy Action newsletter, and they created a 2023 voter guide that was viewed more than 7,000 times prior to the election. And one that I love, they hosted the 2023 National Civics Bee. Right here in this church, middle schoolers from across our area competed in things like explaining democracy and levels of government. Really cool stuff. Most of us would probably fail this test, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't, but most of us would. The 2023 National Civics Bee, even more, the state champion came from right here in Arvada. State champion Suram Yelavarthi is I believe he's an 8th grader at Drake Middle School. And congratulations to him. We probably will maybe have him as our mayor one day here in a couple of decades. We are so excited for our young people, for the civic life, and seeing them get involved early in our democratic institutions because the future is bright and they are quite inspiring. So let's go into something that doesn't get quite as much love. It's highly visible, and yet we never really think about it, our infrastructure. You know, infrastructure is something we all need. We all know it's there, and we know we need it to work. We just kind of want it to be quiet and work and not really do anything. But like with anything, infrastructure ages. Steel and cement and concrete, they wear out, and they have to be replaced. We all know what that means. The orange pain. The orange always signals pain ahead. And while we all cringe when we see it, truth be told, it is one of the most important things we can see because that means we're fixing something. We're not just out there doing it willy-nilly. There's something wrong and we're getting to it before it becomes a problem. So whether it's our roads, Ralston, going back to that one, we all need to drive smoothly, or our sewer lines, which I'll let y'all just think about that one for 1 second. We need our infrastructure healthy, and the investments we make today serve us tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, we do have some budget shortfalls. The city's gonna have to make some hard and challenging decisions, and we're gonna talk to you about that. Trust me, we're gonna be soliciting a lot of community feedback to find out our values and what we wanna do, what we're willing to sacrifice, and what we need. This is going to be a shared decision, and we're going to do it together to meet our needs. So let's move into some of these different challenges we're facing and how we're going to address them. The first is our most important resource, water. The city bonded out several $100 million over the last couple of years to invest heavily in our water infrastructure. I realize no one's happy with the increased water rates. I'm certainly not either, but this is critical and important to us maintaining our water infrastructure and not collapsing like some of the news stories we've seen across the nation in recent years. So first, our water treatment plant, we expanded and upgraded its capabilities, and it is now able to hold 7.8 million new gallons a day. We also treated our sewer lines, and we either lined or replaced more than 40,000 linear square feet of sewer line. Last week, we did a ribbon cutting for our Alkire lift station, which is really important, particularly for those of you on the northwest side. So Arvada, thankfully, we have quite a lot of slopage in this community. We don't need a ton of lift stations to make our sewage go away. Most of it can be done by gravity. However, with the rolling hills of the northwest side, we do have some areas that lie lower than others. What lift stations do is they quite literally lift the issues, send them over to the pipes where the gravity can take hold and move them along to where they need to go for treatment. So I'm so excited for our brand new, well, fully restored Alkire lift station that will work for decades to come. Gross Reservoir remains moving strong, and once that project is completed, Arvada will have secured water for full planned build-out, and it will serve Arvadans well into the future. We are very lucky. Not all communities have their water rights arranged quite the way we do. And speaking of our water lines, the city has invested in a goal of making sure we have no lead or galvanized pipes to any home anywhere in the city. Last year, we treated 500 homes and ensured that there were no lead service lines treating drinking water. And earlier this year, the City Council approved a new program that will help all homeowners in the city not only identify those lines, but replace them at no cost, because this is an important public health issue. It eases the burden on homeowners, particularly either seniors or new homeowners or low-income homeowners, which are going to be the homes that are most likely to have these lines. Our road pavements program treated and replaced 120 miles of road, as well as 400 curb ramps. This is going to be a big challenging one. As I noted, we've bonded out several $100 million for water. Roads are coming next. Arvada is falling a little bit behind every year on the amount of maintenance and replacement we need to do on our roads. This is a challenge because we all know how high inflation has been. Well, the thing about inflation is it's not even across all sectors. Some remain a little bit lower, some go a lot higher. Core infrastructure materials has been one of the highest and most hard-hit areas. So even though we have the same amount of funding dollars, they don't go as far as they used to. We're going to be talking about this issue very seriously in the coming year, and I'm sure you'll all hear more about that here soon. The council is committed to this core responsibility and ensuring it remains in great shape for all of us. Speaking of roads, our traffic team. Our traffic team has been dedicated to creating a transportation system plan that will serve the city for the next 20 years. It's not just looking at needs now, it's looking ahead at what's to come. So traffic is more than just roads. It is also bike lanes when we go to widen roads, pedestrian access so people can walk safely, particularly in our live, work, play communities that are more transit oriented. And then working with our partners at RTD, not only to ensure that our existing train platforms are safe and well maintained, but also looking at how we can restore service to the northwest side. I want to thank our traffic team as they work so hard on these issues. And I also encourage everyone to please stop running red lights. It's my call. All right. We also have a dynamic, safe, and resilient community. This is kind of the more fun stuff as well as the more visible stuff. Our quality of life starts with our parks. If you ask anyone in Arvada why they love living here, our parks are usually the top answer, and we rank higher than most of our neighboring communities in terms of community satisfaction and quality of life. So our parks, we were so excited this year to welcome a brand new park, which is called Little Raven. For those of you who are familiar, I think most of us have heard the name. Chief Little Raven was a chief of the Southern Arapaho tribe, and he struck peace with the Cheyenne, the Comanche, the Kiowa, and the Plains Apache, which was no insignificant feat. He was a diplomat, and he was a leader. There's Little Raven Street in downtown Denver named for him, but as we looked around, we realized that this was a really great opportunity. And how this opportunity came forward, I'd like to share with you a quick story. This is a nice one. So we have a naming policy procedure here in Arvada. We don't just toss names into the air. So our Parks Commission came up with a short list of names that were all historically relevant to this particular site, and they represented what it would look like and what it would be. So council looked at them, and we came down to a couple of favorites we really liked. Particularly, I recall Vista Verde was my favorite because it's a green rolling park with beautiful mountain vistas. Vista Verde seemed to work well. We had a workshop on it. After that workshop, we had a resident send in an email, and it caught our attention. The resident said, well, instead of any of those names, what about Little Raven, to honor the history of this area as well as a significant figure in it? And we kind of loved it. No one had come up with it before. So City Council is sitting up in our upstairs chambers at the 5 p.m. And we're down to Vista Verde and Little Raven as our two choices. And Mark Williams had a tradition, and I keep that tradition to this day because I thought it was a very good one, where he always spoke last. And once we kind of had the conversation to move us along, he would start to point and he would say, all right, what do you think? What's your vote? What's your vote? So he's doing this, and I admit I'm no help. I say I like them both. I could go either way. I'm no help at all. And then Councilmember Pfeiffer stops the voting and goes, you know what, Mark? It's your last opportunity, and parks don't come around that often. You name it. And all 6 faces turn to Mark. And Mark takes about 3 seconds, and he pounds the table, and he goes, Little Raven. And that's how we got the name. We had a beautiful ceremony to open Little Raven Park. It was attended by representatives of the Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Ute tribes. And there will be lots of interest and hopefully future planning in doing more events in this park to celebrate our Native American neighbors and the history of this great land. It was a joyous event, and thankfully we get to do it 2 more times this year. The first is going to be the Garrison Garden Paseo, one more Arvada Urban Renewal Authority. Man, Aura, you're getting a lot of love today. So Aura has helped plan this beautiful public amenity, which will connect the backside of 57th, which is where the community gardens are now, to the front to Ralston Road. It connects the neighborhood to the major amenities that are being built along Ralston, as well as the folks that are going to be living in that affordable project. And with it, it's very themed appropriately, given that the community garden is right there. It's going to have demonstration gardens. Going to have a scenic shaded overlook, and it's going to be a very activated and beautiful space that is just pleasant to be in and to walk. That'll be opening this fall. But before we get to that one, we have the Holistic Health and Fitness Park opening this spring. This one has been built in design and partnership with Red Rocks Community College for some of their educational purposes, as well as for the benefit of the community. We don't have anything quite like this in Arvada right now, so I am excited for this park. It is designed as a whole body, health-based fitness park. It has a reflexology path, a walking labyrinth, which I will probably find very entertaining with my child, and then even outdoor class spaces for classes such as yoga and Tai Chi. I'm very excited to be welcoming that here very soon. Going back to our public safety, we have our police. That is Officer McKenna and Hulk. I absolutely love Hulk. He's a good dog. And fun fact, RTD's dog is named Thor. I really want to get these two together. So despite some understaffing challenges, which frankly are pervasive not only across the Denver region, but across the nation, our Arvada police officers continue to step up and do some of the finest work in the state day in and day out. Last year, we saw an 8.3% decline across all crime sectors. Quite a few of them saw double digits of crime. double digits in reduction of crime. We have only 2 sectors that remain stubbornly high, and that is drugs and weapon violations. We continue to plan strategies to address those and keep our community safe. Just to brag on our police officers a little bit, you know, they're friendly folks. I think we all stop, say hello. The Arvada Police Department goes above and beyond what other communities do. We require more of our officers, quite frankly, and boy, do they deliver. They are intelligent, they are patient. They undergo extensive training, including every year we have ongoing training, such as crisis response. We hire actors, thank you Arvada Center, to come in and demonstrate stressful situations and domestic violence, mental health issues, so that they get real life practice before they encounter those situations in the field and they're better prepared for them. They will tell you those can be hard days of training. I want to thank them for all that they do that is visible, keeping our community safe, addressing crime, and then also for all of the things we don't really see them do, such as traffic investigations, tracking crime trends so that they not only react to crime, but can be proactive to try and prevent it in our community, and the silent things such as evidence storage so that investigations can continue, including cold cases. City Council was recently treated to a tour of our evidence storage facility, and it's incredible that we still have items in there from the 80s and 90s, and they are still being requested to this day because with advancements in DNA technology, suddenly that evidence might be able to be used to give a victim relief for their perpetrator, and so much more. Speaking of the things that are often invisible, I want to give a shout out to our code team. Quite probably the most difficult job in the city. Absolutely no one is happy when code shows up at their door. Absolutely no one. Code team, it's a stressful job. By the very nature of it, you're having to go talk to people about something that's wrong. Most people aren't happy to see you. And even the people who called you and are glad to see you there, well, they're already in a bad mood because they had to call you to begin with. Last year, code tagged 1,063 cars that had not been moved in time, 626 abandoned vehicles. They towed 86 and located 5 stolen cars. They received more than 2,000 voicemails, but what's really special about our code team is not just doing the hard job, it's how they do it. They do it with compassion and they try to get the least punitive measure possible. Out of 2,300 calls last year, 995 of them went without opening a code case. Why? Because instead of just coming by and hitting your door with a ticket, what they do instead is they knock on your door and they see if we can just resolve this issue with a conversation. A great story about that is a snow buddy program. So we had a house with chronic pervasive weeds that were quite high in a neighborhood last year. The neighbors were getting pretty frustrated with the look and appearance of this house as compared to the surrounding community. So our code team went out and they knocked on the door. What they discovered was that it was the home of a very elderly man who was no longer physically able to maintain his yard or shovel his snow. Instead of citing him a ticket, what our code team did was they helped him get his lawn taken care of and they signed him up for the Snow Buddy program so that he wouldn't have to worry about that again. That is the core compassion that is Arvada. We also have our animal management team. I think we all love our animals. So this job is a pretty unique one. There are days when you will quite literally be in a creek waiting around trying to save baby ducks from a storm drain, true story, or days when you encounter something that's pretty difficult and it makes the job hard but incredibly important. One story that I want to share is about a resident that we found last year who was operating an illegal puppy breeding organization. With this, our code team was able to collect, our animal management team was able to collect the evidence, and they were able to cite the resident with accumulation of debris, no kennel license, and neglect of animals. The puppies were all saved, taken to Foothills Animal Shelter, where they were able to receive proper veterinary care and be placed in loving forever homes. And that resident will never be allowed to own another animal again. The respect, dedication, and responsibility of our officers is what makes it so special every day. Moving into a slightly drier topic, we have financial sustainability. We all know that balanced budgets are important, and this was a core goal of our City Council strategic discussion in February. We recognize that financial resilience and sustainability is going to be imperative to our ability to serve all of you in the long term. We need to not only focus on economic development and sustainability of our core services, but reinvestment in our existing infrastructure. As I noted earlier, our revenues currently are flat. And our costs are increasing. We are going to be looking at reasonable and sustainable solutions, as well as opportunities that we might be able to pursue to help meet all of our challenges while not overburdening the city. The city has quite a successful history of sustainable fiscal stewardship and management, and I have no doubt that we will be able to keep that trend going. And speaking of sustainability, we also have a variable climate. This is causing a lot of changes to our community, not least of which was the Marshall Fire. And now I'm so thankful we are working with our Arvada Fire Department and the Fire Board on increased resiliency strategies, particularly on the Northwest side. It was an eye-opening experience, and we are going to take action. So as part of our plans, we have hired our first sustainability coordinator, Nalani Margatis. And I apologize for butchering that name. And we have also recommitted to the Excel Partners in Energy program. Now, I realize after this latest windstorm, Excel may not be everyone's favorite company right now. Even so, they are an incredibly important partner to us, and we are thankful for that partnership. What this program does is it helps residents be able to switch to more efficient and renewable sources of energy for their homes. It lowers their energy bills while sustaining in our community. 390 homes enjoyed Energy Squad visits last year to help improve the quality of life in that home. And I encourage any of you looking at that to reach out and see if you can be a part of that program too. And finally, it's a brave new world, cybersecurity. One of the most invisible pieces of infrastructure in our city is the digital security we must invest in. It may shock some of you to know that we have attempts on hacking our city, quite literally thousands of times a day. This is a major and developing issue that is constantly evolving, and we have a wonderful team of IT and security professionals dedicated to meeting the challenge. It is scary. We have seen with some neighboring organizations, as well as even a neighboring municipality, that hackers have been able to get their way in and hold all of their information for ransom. Thankfully, this has not happened in Arvada, and we are committed to staying ahead of this curve so that it does not. AI presents an interesting challenge. Not only is it an economic development opportunity, but recently I heard of a case where an attack was made and it was fended back fairly easily, but what they were able to determine was that the code had been generated by AI. As AI gets better, it will get more sophisticated. And so this is an incredibly important area where we must maintain our ground. So with that, I want to close on something that's really positive. All of you. The volunteers in our community are what make this so special. As I noted, it's the people of Arvada. We had a record year with 176 individuals sign up to be snow buddies to remove snow for those who are disabled or seniors and cannot do it. Our boards and commissions once again enjoyed very, very high numbers of applicants. It's shocking to see the talent and intelligence that comes out for these boards. And frankly, you kind of want to appoint everyone, and it's sad you can't. A recent survey demonstrated that we had 600 engaged community volunteers for city projects. That's amazing, 600. Many of you were among them. And these don't include the folks who do things in other ways, whether it's volunteering at their church, coaching their kids' Pee Wee League, or even just picking up litter around town. It is the collective talents, dedication, and experience of Arvadans and of all of you here in this room today that make this community thrive. It is a special place, and we are so fortunate to get to call it home. It's been a good year. We have been investing in our shared future and delivering on our big dreams. I'm going to close with a final thought. It's been 6 months now since my election and serving in office, and it's half joking, half serious. A lot of people come to me and they say, "Still having fun yet?" And I say, absolutely. You know, I talk to my fellow mayors. I look at the other communities around town, and my joke right back is, you know, seeing what I see and knowing what I know now, I may not enjoy getting to be the mayor of another city quite so much, but I absolutely love being the mayor of Arvada. Thank you all for joining me here today.